Hello, and welcome to the Isekai Survival Guide episode 3. I'm your trash guy host, ISG. Today's episode is on general starting practices like understanding the value of money from stores, asking about the world without being suspicious, and lowering your expectations. So let's start there. So when I say lowering your expectations, what I mean is that because of the tropes in Isekai, there is always the overpowered main character in a harem. But is that really realistic? Well, no, because it's not real. But if it was, can we guess what it would be like? Well, if we have an unknown, what we need is math. We know how common it is in anime and manga, but how common is it in real life? If we have a variable changed by some factor create an unknown, what you need is another equation where all the numbers are known, to figure out what the factor is. So, what anime and manga genre also has overpowered main characters and harems and has a real life counterpart? Schools. It's schools. So how many school anime and manga have magic and harems? We can see out of the 10,000 school tags, only 7% have the harem tag and 4% have the magic. Out of the almost 2,000 isekai tags, there's 18% harem and 35% magic. So in real life, how many students have harems and magic? Well, out of the estimated 3 to 3.5 million schools, pretty much zero for both. So harem went from 7% to 0%, and magic went from 4% to 0%. So if you get isekai, there could be a 0% chance to get a harem and a 0% chance for magic. Remember, unless it's explicitly told to you, this world isn't made for you to live out your fantasy. Don't just jump into the Adventurers Guild and kill yourself just because you think you have some cheat and have women jump at you. Your only cheat is your brain from this world, so use it in the next topic. Once you're in a civilization, it should be easy to find a market or shop to get information on the world you're in. Now, if someone came up to you on the street and asked where they are and if there's magic in this world, you would think they're crazy. So how do you ask a question without it being weird or suspicious? In Isekai, the main character just gets an exposition dumped by a character, or they explain it away by saying they lived a secluded life. But that's also highly unrealistic, unlike reincarnating in another world. Anyway, how do you get information that everyone should know from birth? That's just it. When you're a baby in any world, you don't know anything, and you gradually learn as you get older. So you ask, how do you teach your kids about money, or the world, or anything you want to know? If you look too young, you can say it's for your niece or nephew. After more information, you can then later phrase it as in, I'm from a faraway land, if you know they haven't explored all the world, or that you lived a secluded life. And lastly, we have money. What is it worth in the other world? You often see the reincarnator look at one item and say, if this is this much here and this much in the other world, then the conversion rate is this. But that's only so a writer can put his own predetermined conversion in. There is no way that's the best way to understand the world's money, right? So first, what is money worth in our world? The purpose of money is to be exchanged for goods and services. If the total amount of money in circulation increases faster than the total number of goods and services, then the same money will be able to buy a smaller portion than before, which is inflation. While if the opposite happened, that would be deflation. So the value of our money is based on the goods and services and how much money there is. In the medieval times, there is the barter system, which was just an exchanging of one goods or service for another, which would be common in smaller villages, while in towns they could have coins made from metals, and that would be a commodity money, meaning they derived intrinsic value from the precious metals they were made out of. Even with this knowledge, why is it still so hard to understand exactly how much a Roman gold or silver coin is worth? Well, changes in the total stock and relative price of gold and silver produces substantial divergences between ancient and modern prices calculated in the two metals. While estimates of the purchasing power parity exchange rates offer some basis for comparison, the absence of a remotely common basket of goods clouds the estimates. If we look at wages, the silver coin was a labourer's wage in a day. And if we use the purchasing power parity, that silver coin may be anywhere from $60 to $200. There just isn't a perfect conversion to modern day money. So with that being said, how do you value an other world's currency? The only way you can look at the price of different items and compare to the price in our world is if you look at multiple items and take an average. Kinda like a market basket. This leads to a better understanding of what the money's worth and helps you not being scammed. A market basket refers to a selection of goods and services commonly sold throughout an economic system. 8 common ones are food and beverage, housing, apparel, transportation, medical care, recreation, education and communication, and other goods and services. So when in a market, the easiest one is probably food and beverage. So because we are looking for what it's worth to you, you need to find what your bread, meat, fruit and veg cost to you, and come up with a conversion number that you'll multiply how much it costs in the other world to find out how much it costs in this world. For example, if it was $5 for a loaf, $10 for 500 grams of meat, and $3 for 1 kilo of carrots, and in the other world, bread is 40 coppers, a cut of beef is 200 coppers, and a carrot is 4 coppers. Since the loaves are similar, you can say $5 roughly equals 40 coppers, so 1 copper roughly equals 12.5 cents. For meat, their scales for weight will probably be different, so going off weight will be difficult, but knowing which part of the cow it's from and comparing from the same cuts. So even if it was 500 grams of minced beef to a rib cut, even though they're both beef, different cuts will cost different amounts. So if the butcher had a handful of off cuts for 80 coppers, they'll be less than 500 grams. You'll see that the previous conversion is in the ballpark. Next, the carrot. The average carrot is 131 grams, so a kilo of carrots has an average of 7.6 carrots. But the medieval carrots weren't as big as modern day carrots, so maybe a kilo might be 8 or 9 carrots. So, 4 coppers times 8 carrots is 32 coppers. Then $3 roughly equals 32, so $1 roughly equals 9.6 cents. So the rough conversion is somewhere between 9.5 cents and 12.5 cents, so the average is 11 cents. Then you can notice that the hotel that cost 10,000 coppers for a shack of a place isn't worth $1,100. That should be it. If you have more information or thoughts on the topics discussed today, be sure to leave them in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to remake the video. In my next video, I'll go over disease and hygiene. Hopefully you'll be able to stick around for it. Goodbye.